Hey everybody, it's Catherine. What's up? Wanted to give you a little bit of update of what's going on in my world, and you're going to be seeing me a lot more here on, on YouTube. And I want to talk about why I left FacePlace, as I affectionately refer to it, and why I don't really see that anymore as a very hospitable place for creators. A little bit of background, I've been on Facebook since 2009, so I'm definitely an OG as far as, there's just a small crop of us back at that time talking about and creating spiritual communities, talking about ascension, talking about 5D, talking about elevated consciousness and spiritual awakening and enlightenment. And even fewer of us offering programs and courses and Reiki healing and operating as energy practitioners and creating groups around that and creating programs around that and being able to cultivate a community there that felt really authentic and genuine, and a place that at that time had a little more feeling of connection and community than it does now. But what is truly upsetting for those of us who recognize and identify ourselves as creators, especially visionary creators, being ahead of the curve, offering things and talking about things that were, edgy, a little bit maybe fringe, and being able to have the freedom to talk about those things in that way at that time back then, and even up to about 5 or 6 years ago. It was a different platform back then, and I loved it. So it's kind of bittersweet that I left. Yesterday was like my official day leaving Facebook, even though I'm still kind of checking in on some groups that I created there. I've created dozens of groups for my programs on Facebook over the years because it's free and it's a great platform to be able to host groups because of some of the features that were there. That is until there was a lot of interference with the things that I had been posting. I had been up in, I'd say over the last 2 years intermittently, having my content flagged, having content removed, and not just from my personal page, but from my groups, which felt up until that point a little more private. And things with certain links would just go away. Things with certain kinds of content would go away. Good example, I started teaching, God, it's over 6 years ago now, Timelines Expanded Masterclass. And if you've been following me here on this platform for a while, there's definitely some of my most watched videos here have to do with time and timelines and bending time. And this was at a time where I was heavily promoting Timelines Expanded Masterclass because I was teaching it. And about 2 years ago, some of the things that I had started to teach again and add into or add on to the pre-existing Timelines Expanded course, they were being removed. They were being flagged as inappropriate content, as spam. Even when I was connecting with people who were part of my group and asking legitimate questions about the program that they were in, there was just a lot of things that I noticed that, maybe they were Facebook glitches sometimes, but, if that happens once, maybe it's a Facebook glitch. When it starts to happen 2, 3 times, it's not a glitch. And it started to feel like kind of an attack. It started to feel like I was being singled out. And especially when I would talk about certain kinds of content that poke the hornet's nest of status quo mentality, or, I don't want to say sheeple, but certain things that were just kind of no to talk about, or talking about sovereignty, talking about having self-agency, talking about, freely expressing oneself, talking about even bending time, talking about certain time and timelines principles that I was sharing openly and not gatekeeping any of it. on my Facebook page. A lot of that started to be, I'd say, recognized a little bit more from the people who are policing and creating regulations and policies on Facebook. And it started to feel very invasive. It started to feel very personal. And you can only take so much when you're a creator, and it starts to really hit you where it hurts. And even though I had people who were hungry for my content on there for a good long time, I noticed engagement really starting to slacken. And I noticed that, and even though I kind of culled my feed a little bit and my followers, because there were people who would follow me who never liked or commented, or as far as I knew, even looked at my content. And so I got rid of a lot of people who were following me. And, up until the time I left Facebook, I had under 1,000 followers, but less than 1% of the people who were following and engaging with my content were seeing my posts anymore. And so for someone like me, who's a prolific content creator and has been for a very long time, it just started to feel like, why am I here? Who am I speaking to anymore? Who am I writing for? Who am I creating content for? Who am I engaging with? I don't know, because I would get like maybe the same, and I love you, you know who you are, 6 or 7 of the same people following me and commenting and engaging with my content. And I was putting out good, solid content every day on Facebook, and seeing less and less engagement. That, and I would reach out to my community and ask them, like, hey, is it just that you don't see my posts? Does the content not resonate for you anymore? Like, no, it would be something I would see from you, but it was like 5 days before, and then there'd be a bunch of ads, and then, maybe another thing from you that was like a week ago. So, there were only a handful of people who were seeing the content as I was generating it, like on the same day I was generating it and putting it out there. And sharing about unity consciousness, sharing about spiritual awakening, sharing about New Earth, the things that I'm passionate about. And it just seemed like everything I was sharing was falling on deaf ears and blind eyes, and frustrating as a creator. And especially when you're creating really original content and sharing things that not a lot of people are talking about, and especially so in the last couple of months, where I started to have another wave of my content, I'd say actually over the last like 4 weeks, as of the date of today is August 28th. So over the last 4 weeks, probably the beginning of August, seeing that some of my posts they just disappeared. They were just poof, like gone in a puff of smoke. And some things that were in my groups, including my Timelines Expanded Masterclass, which I had archived because I hadn't actively been teaching it in a long time, some of that content in there being removed. And not because there was anything, there's no hate, there's no hate speech, there's nothing like that. It's content that pokes a hornet's nest, I guess, a little too much for Facebook's liking. And so I decided it was time to leave. And when I made that decision in earnest, and from a place of not bitterness, but just, this doesn't make any sense for me to be here and be sharing content. I'm certainly not getting any new followers, getting new likes and engagement. I'm certainly not getting clients anymore from this platform, where back in the day, I would get most of my clients from that platform, probably about 80% of them. That just wasn't true anymore. And so bittersweet, because I had formed some incredible relationships on Facebook, and people that I got to meet in real life, became friends with in real life. People who had routinely engaged in my content over years, and, were repeat customers and clients who'd sign up. I'd put out a new program. They were there in a hot minute, signed up, ready to go, ready to engage with whatever new program course I was teaching. And that's okay. It's perfectly all right. Everything changes, but I will miss the connections that I did make there that were long lasting. And some people I had known for, some of people I've known 5, 6, maybe even 10 years on that platform. So it's really this is my personal view, my personal experience, not really a place for creators. And my content is really, it's visionary, it's cutting edge. I'm talking about things that, you know, take what other people are talking about and we go to the next level. I like to push the envelope. I like to stretch people's consciousness. I like to introduce concepts that are like, well, if you're on board with that, how about this? And I love to take people on a new journey. Now, if there's a platform that seemingly, at least to my own estimation, my own good intuitive senses, that just isn't being supported there anymore, talking about things like really expanding your consciousness, talking about ways of creating reality that are, yeah, not being shared. You know, your tired old manifesting practices, your mother and everybody you know is teaching that stuff now, but I don't teach that way. And because I think a lot of those principles are misunderstood and not even fully understood. And so the good news is it prompted me to create my own platform on the school platform. So that way I don't have to deal with any of the Facebook fuckery. I don't have to deal with censorship. I don't have to deal with policing. I don't have to deal with, you know, appealing to have my content put back into my groups or on my page. I don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. And that's why I love the school platform. And that's why I started Unity School. And we just had our first call yesterday for Unity School. So this is an opportunity to learn and study the principles and premises and practices of manifesting through the unity consciousness paradigm. In other words, manifesting through the idea, the premise, the foundation that we are all one, but not only that, you are one with everything and everyone. And you are everything and everyone, just under different circumstances. And with that underlying foundation, it connects you to everything in such a way where it eliminates victim mentality, eliminates separation consciousness. And through this paradigm, it helps you to look at the recurring themes over a lifetime of where you've dealt with recurring anger, recurring fear, despair, disappointment, sadness, depression, where you've dealt with chronic health issues, where you've dealt with chronic emotional issues, the same kind of situations on our carousel loop of repeat instances over and over and over again. When we are looking through the lens of this particular paradigm, what you're really discovering is that you are looking at life. You are looking at you through the higher witness, the objective observer, the eternal you that is connected to everyone and everything. It's not even a connection because that implies something secondary or relational. You are everything. You are everyone. And this is radical because it implies complete and total self-accountability, self-responsibility. Moves you right out of victim consciousness entirely. And this is something that we gradually build into and reveal over, well, as long as you're in the membership with me. I have introduced a membership platform of Unity School for $100 a month. And what I've done is, with our call yesterday, I invited people who are interested in this platform and seeing what the energy is like in here to take advantage of our introductory call. And it's also a tour of Unity School to see if it's for you. And so if what I'm talking about here is, you know, kind of alighting all of your senses and getting you excited for a platform where we can actually have a community where we can share freely, we can talk openly, we can be there to support each other in compassionate kindness and tenderness and higher witness energy of each other as we explore this premise and the foundation of manifesting through unity consciousness. It just turns everything that you've learned before on its head, because it's radical thinking, but with such tenderness, such love, through the lens of only love, actually, looking at how you create your reality and how you can be in a place of creating your reality from the most empowered, most emboldened, free state of being where your mind is open, your heart is open, your body is open. You are free of the impressions and the misperceptions of your past that have been creating a veil through which you really don't see the truth of reality. You can't see it when you are operating from these misperceptions rooted in anger, sadness, and fear over a lifetime, and rooted in a feeling of unsafety because of feeling these feelings over a lifetime. And you'll never perceive reality in truth if you don't feel safe. And so these are the things that we are focused on in here. These are the premises of building a new, more preferable reality, more preferred experiences without feeling the bondage of the limitation and the misperceptions of our past. Literally leaving our history behind, honoring it, loving it, but leaving it behind. And so I'm giving you a powerful taste of this introductory call for Unity School to see if this place, this community, and these teachings are a perfect fit for you. And if you've been following me for a while, you may really want to consider getting in here, because it's not lost on me that this platform also has certain times where there's been some policing and some censoring. And as long as you're on a public platform, there's just going to be that. You can't escape it. I'm small potatoes here as far as a creator on YouTube, so I haven't had the kind of interference or fuckery on YouTube or even on Instagram, which I'm on now a little bit more often, that I've ever experienced in Facebook. So I'm excited to branch out into this new community where it's private. We can say what we want. We can do what we want. We can explore. We can be there for each other as we explore new frontiers of creating our reality together. And if this appeals to you, all you have to do is go to my email list. So if you go in the links down below in the description of this video, you'll have all the links of where you can find me right now. And in the pinned comment of this video, it is a link that will take you direct to my homepage, CatherineMassell.com. And that's where you sign up. And when you get on my email list, you sign up there, you will automatically get access to this introductory call for Unity School and see if this is a perfect fit for you. And I would absolutely love to invite you in there if this calls to you. So I'd appreciate any comments below about your experiences with, if you're a creator too, if you recognize yourself as being a sacred rebel, a visionary, a truth teller, a torchbearer, what your experience has been with Facebook. And I'm curious to know if you've had any of that happening to you, especially if you've been on that platform for a really long time, if you've noticed some obvious changes in the way they're doing their housekeeping these days. And I have only love for it because Facebook has given me some great opportunities to meet incredible fellow creators and fellow visionaries, and to form and forge beautiful relationships with people. Some people I know I will stay connected to, even though I have left that platform. I've hosted many groups there with a lot of successes, a lot of wins, a lot of expansions with people there. So I have only love for it. I just have no more room for it in my life as a creator anymore. So thanks everyone for listening. I hope this was helpful for you. I'd love to hear your comments down below, and go ahead and sign up to get that free introductory class for Unity School to see if this is maybe your new, most awesome, most loved community. Thanks everyone. Bye-bye.